Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Shonen and Chill, hosted by Zenrotto and Asaratha, and Oceans today as well.
Uh, Hi, motherfuckers, I'm back.
He couldn't leave Goblin Nation high and dry with the current events going on.
I keep hearing
Yeah.
an echoing ooh, like a ghost sound in this call. Is that just me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
did
sorry,
it get slightly colder in this call when we turned it on?
Asa's just a little sad because I scooched in between your guys' icons. So,
Yeah,
No,
we
this
can't touch on
is
this call.
this is the ideal trio, honestly. Like this is this is
You-
how the marriage should be.
I mean, someone's gonna post this image saying "Nightmare Blunt Rotation."
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
I guess to some people it is. When
Yeah,
I announced that I was catching up to MHA, I had some real fucking jokers.
I thought that was
Oh, I'm
really
sure you
funny
did.
because you gave literally no opinions in those posts, and people act like the Pentagon got hit.
I did not realize I had that much rent space in people's heads. It's great.
All you tweeted was catching up to MHA thumbs up emoji, and there was some guy who quote retweeted it multiple times, going like, "Oh no," like he was having a panic attack.
I love that guy. I hope he's doing great.
Yeah, hopefully he recovered from the tragic
Sir, a
incident.
second YouTuber has hit My Hero Academia.
Why did you do that, Ocean Man? Why'd you do that to him?
I'm sorry. Like I was just minding my own business, taking care of my health.
You
and,
you did a
playing...
you did a bad thing, so that means that we're gonna kill you now.
Now hold on. You can't kill me, according to Horikoshi, because I did not grow up in poverty. I did not grow up with any significant disadvantages, and I was not that bratty growing up. So theoretically, I don't qualify for the death penalty.
See, I understand that you gave a nuanced argument. However, I am the hero in this instance, so I'm just gonna say that you have no friends and then kill you.
That's
He's
fair enough.
too far gone.
Anyway, I'm back for this one episode to talk about my hero, which I caught up to in this episode for this episode specifically, because Zen signaled me with a bat signal.
Yeah,
And I knew the time was
what,
there.
What would the ocean signal in the sky even be?
I don't want to imagine. It's probably awful. It's that really shitty drawing of me that I sent you once for one of the replacement episodes.
The Oceaniz drawing.
Yes, it's just that in the sky. I'm just sipping my tea and I'm like, oh fuck, my time has come.
They're being drafted back to the front lines.
Like dusting off like my Shonen and Chill uniform. Yeah, people don't notice. We have a uniform for this podcast.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, none of our cameras have ever worked.
Yeah, I still have not received mine as well.
It's lost in the mail, unfortunately.
Zen has been a cheapskate. He doesn't want to give it to me.
Yeah, well, his uniform is just instead of a real one, it's just a printed out like logo that he tapes to the front of his shirt every time we do this. All right.
I'm sorry that we made you do this, Ocean Man. It's not fair to you, but you know.
Hey, it's okay. I'm glad to be back for a little special feature. I missed both of you guys, and I missed the Goblin Nation. So let's kill this man live on stream.
We'll make him proud for sure.
Yeah.
Before we do that, though, I have another fun activity for us, and that's going to be
enrichment?
us talking about Jujutsu Kaisen, which you did not read. So this is all fresh information.
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
And I want to hear your live thoughts.
All right.
So what's the last?
When was the
thing you
last time?
remember?
Yeah.
The last thing I remember was that Gojo started fighting Sukuna, and then the fight kept going forever.
No way, man.
So
That was the last thing I stayed with.
some shit's gone
Holy.
down since then. So
Has it?
yeah,
Kind
So-
of, but
Gojo
also not
started
really.
fighting Sukuna about a year ago, like one calendar year ago today,
Uh-huh.
and then he fought him for 3 months. So 9
Oh.
months after that. So Gojo lost. He got killed.
I do remember that. I did see that. Yeah.
Sukuna cut him in half, and since
Uh-huh.
then, Yuji, Hakari, and Higuruma all jumped in
Mhm.
to
Not
fight
Hakari,
Sukuna
not
at the
Hakari.
same time. Hakari did his domain to get the ice person out of the way, and that's all he's done.
Mhm.
He has done nothing since then.
Oh, he's been
He-
in limbo since.
He shows up every
Would
now
love
and again in like one panel to be like, he's still fighting, but then they cut away from him and he does nothing. So
This is the best part of the arc, to be honest with you. The fact that he's not there.
Okay, Jesus.
So Higuruma, his plan is, I'll use my sword that kills people in one hit, and I'll kill Sukuna in one hit, which obviously did not work.
Yeah.
And they have like 3 panels where, fuck, what's the guy's name? I can't even remember his name anymore. The sword guy who hates life.
Kusakabe.
Is like, hey, I think it might be a bad idea because if you die, what's going to happen? And your curse is going to go away. And he's like, actually, I think that when people die, curses get stronger. And then he died, and it did not get stronger, and it just went away.
Yeah, so the domain it didn't take his curse technique. It took the little rattle that he got from Yorozu. The item that only existed to be deleted in this fight so that Sukuna doesn't lose instantly.
So, that was really considerate of her to give him a counter to a thing she didn't know about.
Existed.
And then what was it? Yuji had the executioner's sword, and then he was about to stab Sukuna, but because Higurama died, it like faded in his hands or something, right?
It faded away in his hands before.
It was
he
like he was like
him.
1 pixel from stabbing him, but then it disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So also they called Higuruma the sorcerer with the potential to rival Satoru Gojo, and then killed him 3 panels later.
Yeah,
I think Gege is a comedian.
I agree.
I think some of this sounds like it would belong in like a comedy gag manga. How's my goat, the comedian, doing? Is he around?
He might be dead. We're not sure.
That's awful.
He basically essentially beat Kenjaku almost entirely on his own.
Yes. So he had a Looney Tunes battle with Kenjaku where they just did silly stuff. They were just silly guys together.
Honestly,
for a while.
You probably liked that fight because that was kind of cute.
Probably would be your favorite part. Yeah.
Okay.
So they have like a silly Looney Tunes battle where like they just keep doing silly stuff at each other, and like Kenjaku's being a sexy nurse and he's being the doctor and he's trying to grope Kenjaku and he's not letting him.
Based.
Mm-hmm. And then Kenjaku finally wins somehow. I'm not even really sure how Kenjaku wins. He's just like, okay, we're done now. And the comedian guy's like, okay, I guess we're done now.
Nice.
And then Yuta appears and immediately cuts Kenjaku's head off, like the minute the fight ends.
Okay.
So Kenjaku gets killed by Yuta.
Yeah, it was really anticlimactic, actually.
Yes. And the last we
sort of
see of the comedian guy is that he's laying on the ground in like a comical ghost outfit.
Cool.
And then we've never seen him since then. So
okay, and that's everything that's happened since I've stopped reading.
Oh,
No.
buddy. Oh, buddy.
Oh no.
Oh, buddy.
Wait, do you know about Kashimo?
Kashimo?
The guy
who beat up Panda and then lost to Hikari?
Yeah, the guy who dedicated his entire curse technique to fight Sukuna. He popped it and then he died.
Didn't he get low diffed?
Yeah, he popped it and he died.
He got low diffed immediately.
Instantaneously.
What was his curse technique?
He becomes weird looking and then he dies, I
He
guess.
gets like a bunch of cursed energy around his body that makes him super strong and fast, and then he dies.
Then he died.
Gay.
Yeah.
That's so lame. Okay.
Who else showed
scared to
up?
ask.
Miguel from JJK Zero
Yeah,
came back.
the guy who
Gojo was
beats the absolute
racist.
shit out of in the movie shows up.
Gojo started doing skull science on him.
Yeah, Gojo's racist canonically.
Hey, hold on. Oh, okay. Is that like a bit or is that
No, there's a whole page where he's like, we're gonna recruit this guy Miguel because he's got really great physical stats for a sorcerer because he's black.
He literally, this is not a joke. Ocean.
It's not a joke. He literally is like that.
Said
And then Miguel is like, dude, it's not because I'm black. And he's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry.
It's not. I know it sounds like a joke, but it's really not.
It's not. It really happens.
Satoru Gojo is into race science?
Satoru Gojo is a little racist.
Gege said he was a little sad, because he hasn't been able to say fuck Gojo for a while because he cut him in half, so he made him racist after he killed him.
He wanted to make him less popular, so he got him into phrenology?
Yeah.
What the okay. Did Gojo actually get less popular after that?
No.
Probably not, no.
No.
I don't imagine.
No, not at all. So
and we're not done.
No, we're not done.
No, we're not. There's still more.
Sake.
So Yuta shows up,
Yeah.
to fight Sukuna with Yuji, and they do a domain expansion thing, and Yuji now has the ability. Yuji has like every power now.
Yeah.
And he
Yuta's
has
domain
the
expansion
ability
was cool
to
too.
separate Sukuna from his host by punching him a bunch.
Why?
Something about the soul something. And
Okay.
it works. So they're in Yuta's domain, and he's like, "Oh my God, we did it! I found Megami. Megami, let's go." And Megami goes, "No, I'm too sad. I don't want to go."
This isn't a joke either. It's basically exact verbatim what happened.
He literally
Oh,
says that my sister is dead, so I have nothing to live for, so I'm not going.
I suppose suicide by Mahoraga isn't really an option anymore. So
No,
this
not
is
anymore.
second best.
And then in the
He,
next panel, Yuta gets promptly split in half by
he just he
Sukuna.
decided I can't kill myself with Mahoraga anymore, so now I'm gonna kill everyone.
I'm gonna kill everyone else. Yeah, he
Oh,
was reading My Hero also.
yeah.
oh yeah.
So,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, he decided the world is
Yuta's
too far gone.
Yuta's domain was very cool though. It's basically there's like a bunch of swords in it, and every sword he picks up represents a curse technique he copied. And whenever he holds the
Oh,
sword, he could use that curse technique. It was really cool actually.
It was very cool. I
that
know he had
that
like
And
kind of
then
reminds me of
they had this whole plan.
he got one
yeah.
shot.
That kind of reminds me of what is it? Unlimited Blade Works from
So
the
so
Fate
I've heard.
series.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I've heard.
it
Yeah.
looks a lot like that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Uh, and that's where we're at today.
No.
No.
No, there's more. Uh,
I'm just
Tell him
gonna
about-
stop
tell him-
asking that.
Tell him about Chozo too.
we're not even there yet.
Oh, we're not.
So,
What,
no.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
So then we find out that for some reason, the plan was that once Yuta gets split in half and his domain breaks, that's the signal for Maki to jump in, instead of Maki helping the whole time. So
They
Maki
planned
jumps
for
in.
Yuta. They planned for Yuta getting split in half.
Oh, buddy, just wait. There's even more to that plan.
Oh,
But yes,
okay.
they plan for Yuta getting killed, and then when his domain breaks down, that's the cue for Maki to jump in and take her turn in the fight.
Uh-huh.
She stabs Sukuna in the heart, and then we find out in the same chapter that Orihime goes, "Oh, by the way, Sukuna is not even trying yet, bro."
Yeah, and then he black flashes her. Was it 3 times?
Yeah, just beats the shit
Yeah.
out of Maki.
Okay.
He
I'll
black
just
flashes
take
her
that
so
one in.
hard she flies
then
out of a parking
it-
garage and like bounces off the railing and goes
it
flying out to the street.
Is it immediately or shortly after that Yuji black flashes Sukuna 8 times?
Shortly after that, because he fights Kusakabe after he beats Maki.
That's right. That's right.
He has the one.
Kusakabe gets a turn?
He gets a
Yeah.
turn for one chapter. He kind of does okayish, and then he gets
Uh-huh.
clapped pretty hard. And that's
Okay.
when Miguel and the guy with the heart nipples from JJK0 that have been in nothing since then show up, also to
Oh.
fight Sukuna.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Cool.
And then
That's cool.
Yuji starts landing black flashes, and then he black flashes the absolute shit out of him 8 times in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And so now he
new
has
record.
like all. Oh, he has blood manipulation now too, by the way.
Yeah, and Shrine,
Yeah,
and Simple Domain,
Uh-huh.
and Reverse Curse Technique.
And reverse curse
Okay.
technique. So Yuji has like everything now.
He got all of
You're
it off
hitting
screen.
me with consecutive black flashes.
He
What
got
you
all of
mean?
it off screen. There was a month because you know that month's time skip between when Gojo got unboxed and then Gojo vs Sukuna. Every single thing that could have happened in the universe happened in that month.
So he got his 6 quirks, basically.
Basically,
Yes.
yeah. So he ate the other blood paintings, and so he gained blood manipulation. He ate like Choso's brothers that were the little tiny things in the jars.
Awesome. Awesome.
So he has blood manipulation. He swapped souls with people for a little while to just like learn their abilities. So now he can do reverse curse technique. And he
Oh.
also, after black flashing so many times, awakened Sukuna's technique. So he can use Shrine as well now.
As in Shrine is the ability to cleave and cut. Is
Yes.
that it?
Yes. And then he also has
Okay.
reverse curse technique and simple domain.
So, wait, hold on. Yuji, whose whole deal was that he had trouble controlling the flow of cursed energy in him, now has reverse curse technique, one of the most like delicate cursed abilities in the series.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he just got into somebody's body and was like, "Oh, I get it," and then he did it.
Well, he was like, "Oh, it's super easy actually because Sukuna did it a bunch in my body, so I totally know how to
Yeah.
do it naturally."
Oh yeah, that's right. That yeah.
He was like,
Oh,
I
so
I totally get it."
He leveled up because he let another man inside of his body. Okay.
Yes.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I love that. Gege is absolutely an ally. I love him.
Okay, so let's see. So Yuji jumps in, he black flashes a bunch of times. There's this whole thing about how like Sukuna can't use his domain because of brain damage from the fight with Gojo. He's got CTE,
Yeah,
so he can't
Gojo
use his
actually
domain.
fucked his brain up.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then he's like, you know what? I made a binding vow, and now I can do it again. And he opens up his domain.
Wait, what was the binding vow?
We don't know. We don't know. He just did it.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been doing that a lot.
Wait, before that though, it's the Chozo thing. Oh wait, no, this is the
No.
Chozo thing, right?
It's during this, yeah. So
Right.
he opens up his domain, and Chozo shields Yuji with a big shield of blood, and then dies.
Yeah, because Sukuna finally starts using the flame. He starts using, it's called furnace, by the way. That's all that was censored is furnace.
Yeah, it's just the word. The black box thing is just the word furnace. Yeah.
Oh, it's not even like a repository of different abilities. It's just
No,
one ability.
it's just the fire. Yeah.
He just coincidentally also has fire when he
Yeah,
fights
well,
Joko.
it's after
It-
he cuts you with his cutting abilities, he can then cook you with the fire. See, it's a kitchen.
Yeah, it
thing.
revitalizes, it
Oh.
recontextualizes it because there's always been a debate if it's Malevolent Shrine or Kitchen, and now we know. I'm pretty sure it's actually Malevolent Kitchen.
That's so much more lame.
A little bit, yeah, just a little bit.
Like, I don't know. Maybe there's like a cultural thing I'm not getting here, but shrine is a much cooler word
I
than
think-
kitchen.
I don't know the specifics because I'm not like that big into JJK, but I think the kanji used can mean shrine and kitchen, hence the confusion the entire time.
Yeah, it could mean
okay,
either
that's
one.
cool, I
think,
guess.
is-
Yeah.
Yeah. So Choso
Jojo
evaporates.
just kind of dies. Yeah.
Okay.
And Yuji's standing there, and he's like, "Am I the only one left?" And then fucking Toto walks out of the smoke.
This is this happened literally a page turn, by the way.
Yeah,
Oh.
Choso
Chozo dies, turn the
evaporates, and then
page,
Toto's
Toto's there.
back.
And he's still missing his arm.
He is, but now
got the
he has
thingamajig.
a doohickey attached to it.
What kind of doohickey?
He got
It's-
the thingamabob.
What's it called? I don't remember what kind of. I've
It's an
been calling it the
instrument.
thingamabob.
It's an instrument. I don't know the name
It's
of
some
it.
kind of musical instrument, a vibra-slap. It's called a
That's what it is.
vibra-slap.
I'm gonna look up what that looks like right
It
now.
is a silly ball connected to what looks like a piece of wood by a wire.
No, he just has that on his arm. I need to
Yeah,
see
it's
this.
just
Hold
on the end
I
of
need
his
to find
stump.
it.
And now Boogie Woogie is cracked because
Yeah, he got buffed.
he hits the thingy and it bounces off the little block on his hand over and over again, and so he Boogie Woogies like a bajillion times. He can do 50
So he's like
position
blinking in
swaps
and out
per
of
second.
existence.
Yes.
Yes.
So whereas originally he had to clap for one, now he can do 50 swaps per second.
Oh my god, this looks so stupid. Oh my
He's-
god.
He is completely and utterly overwhelming Sukuna because 50 swaps per second is deranged.
Is like literally, yeah, you can't even see anything because your vision
Unless
is
you're
different constantly.
unless you're Yuji apparently.
Yes,
Toto.
for some reason Yuji is just fine. It's not disorienting for the good guys in any way.
Good lord. Okay.
And so then,
This is the most recent thing.
yeah, the most recent thing we're about to be at.
Oh,
So
damn,
Yuji
finally.
stabs Sukuna in the chest, and he's trying to rip his heart out with his hand, right?
Uh-huh.
And so then Sukuna goes to open his domain again because he just has it back now. And then he looks over and he's like, "Oh my god, in the smoke, it's Gojo coming back." And then he looks up because he's sitting there and he's walking out of the smoke and like there's no way Gojo's alive again. And he looks up and his hair blows back and he has the Kenjaku stitches across his forehead.
Yuta copied his technique.
It's Yuta copying Kenjaku's technique in Gojo's body.
Okay.
And then the most recent chapter ends with them doing the domain clash that they did for 3 months at the beginning of this battle of Shrine versus Unlimited Void.
And that's the most recent thing.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Was something revealed about like Yuji's family? I seem to remember like memes going around.
Oh,
About that.
Yeah. Yuji's
Oh, yeah.
dad is Sukuna's brother.
Yuji's dad, not Yuji, his dad
Yeah,
is
yeah.
Sukuna's twin brother, who then had a child, which is Yuji. So Yuji is his nephew canonically.
Oh, wait. Okay, he's like his actual like literal immortal twin brother, or like reincarnated.
Reincarnated, I think.
Reincarnated, yeah.
Okay,
Something with the soul or some shit. I don't remember.
Same soul as Sukuna's twin brother that he ate in utero.
Yeah.
I mean, the real god Sukuna is associated with twins according to either myth or like urban myth. So, sure.
From what I saw, yeah, a lot of people had theorized something similar for a while. Because I mean, obviously Sukuna and Yuji look very similar for some reason.
Mm.
I just think it's super funny that it's not Yuji, it's his
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah.
That appeared in one panel.
So, hold on. Yuji is the son of Kenjaku and Sukuna's lineage?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nepo baby. Jesus.
Well, does Kenjaku even have lineage? He's just a floating monster brain.
That's true. He's just a guy.
He's just a sometimes he's a guy.
Currently, he's dead. Apparently,
Well, he's gone now. Yeah, he got stabbed in the face by Yuta.
which
It went
you
out
said
sad.
that. Yeah, you said that was like anticlimactic. Like, did what was ostensibly the main villain of the series just
He's
get no
dead.
diffed?
Yeah, he died.
Yeah,
he got
no.
no
So
diffed.
he beat the comedian guy, and he's like, "That was fun, comedian guy. I'm glad we did that." And then the next page, Yuta just cuts his head off. Jumps
Okay.
him, sneak attacks him. Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm dead. Now Suguru Geto's body is gonna release all the curses that I gathered up." And then Yuta stabs him in the forehead, and then he off-screen fights all the curses that his body releases when he dies.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like that really speaks to like that old writing adage, tell, don't show.
Yeah. This magazine is so great, man. I love this stuff. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for the opportunity.
Anything else that I should know?
I think that's it.
Oh, okay, good. I was worried it was gonna get overwhelmingly stupid.
The only other thing I think of is that Gojo killed all the higher-ups, that we got
Oh, yeah.
confirmation that he's the one that did it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I don't have beef with that. That's all right, I guess.
Yeah, he said he might do it a long time ago. So I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and then we
So-
get the panel of him walking in to go kill them all.
So wait, Yuta taking over Gojo, was that like an impromptu thing of like, oh fuck, things?
Nope, they pre-planned it.
They planned it while Gojo was alive and walking the earth before the fight.
What?
There's this whole most recent chapter is them talking about it and planning it out, and then he's like, "Hey, are you okay with that, Gojo?" And he's like, "Yeah, whatever.
He's like, yeah, I don't give a shit.
I don't give a shit."
So Gojo's just randomly also like suicidal.
The only thing that Gojo cared about is that Shoko didn't give a shit.
Yeah, he said, "I don't care at all because who cares what happens to a dead body, but I'm not gonna lose anyway." But also, it kind of annoys me that Shoko didn't care.
Ronald Gagan hits again. I mean, wow, that's a manga right there. Jesus
It's also
Christ.
really funny because this like Yuji's been putting work in on Sukuna and just beating his ass, and then this chapter starts with Sukuna literally backhanding him once out of the way to go fight Yuta Gojo,
Yeah.
and Yuji does not appear again.
Good lord. What?
Yuji is fighting for his life to be the main character of his own manga.
He's trying so hard to be the main character of his own series.
You know, between our two autopsy topics today, it sure is crazy how these these sort of series from around the mid 2010s seem to really struggle with focusing on their main character in a satisfying way. What's up with that?
It is a little weird.
I'm not
isn't it?
sure.
I don't know if it's just because like the standout character is Gojo, so he wanted the hype of everyone seeing Gojo walk out of the smoke or something. I don't know, but you got
It's weird because when Gege writes Yuji, I really like it, but like when Hoya writes Deku, I get so sad because he doesn't know anything about his own character. It feels like sometimes it's that Kubo interview. We'll get to it though. It's fine.
Okay, so now you've told me all of this. Like, what's the vibe with JJK? Like, are people happy with this? Are you guys happy with this?
I mean, people are happy with whatever happens. Doesn't really matter.
Well, yeah. The general discourse on at least Twitter is always that I like the series, therefore whatever it does is good.
The general discourse is that this is better than Shibuya.
Is it really that people are saying
Yes.
that? That's
Yes.
that's disheartening, to say the least.
I beg them, please reread Yuji vs Mahito.
For the love of God.
There is no, I don't think there's anything in this arc that comes even close to that fight.
He really did kill Mahito way too early, didn't he?
I mean, I've been saying that as soon as Mahito died, this series like has never felt the same.
Yeah, I would probably co-sign that. I think that's a fair take. I'm
Okay.
obviously not a huge fan because literally nothing is happening. It's just they've been fighting for a straight year.
It kind of sounds like you're just watching like a mediocre anime 3D arena battler tournament in your basement.
A little bit, yeah. And then like every time something happens, they have to be like, "Hey,
It's
guess what? That time skip that we fucking made you sit through
this
is all the cool stuff happened off screen during that."
Parallel merchant here. What the fuck is up with both JJK and My Hero having this random ass like time jump between their final arcs that they then
I
use
don't
as
know.
leverage for any interesting plot developments?
I
I don't
have
know,
no
man.
idea. Also, they're
This
like, "Hey, what about we fight in a month?" A lot of shit happened in that month, apparently. That was the longest month of all time.
this arc feels like the action figures slamming together, but the person who's like controlling the Sukuna action figure every time is like, "No, I dodged it. You can't do that. I did a binding vow. You can't do that." And then like you have to get the other guy has to get the next action figure out every time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
No, actually, I'm
he
immune to
also
that. You can't do that.
reveals that he killed Gojo with a binding vow. That's how he got him. So basically, every time Sukuna's in a position where it's bad, he's just like, "I'm gonna do a binding vow," and then he's fine again.
Which, I know the series has tried very hard to make this stuff sound really cool, but you gotta remember, a binding vow is basically he just mumbles a promise to himself anytime he's in trouble.
Yep.
He's just doing affirmations.
I think it's really funny that Oh, do you know what happened to Miwa, the little girl with the sword?
No, what happened to my goat Miwa?
She can't ever use a sword again because when she attacked Kenjaku and Shibuya, that was apparently a binding vow. When she said she was gonna, as long as that one strike that she's gonna put her everything into it, and then Kenjaku caught it with one hand. That was apparently a binding vow, so she's no longer able to
Yeah.
wield a sword or she'll die or
You know
whatever.
what? Good. Stay the fuck away from this story, girl.
JJ
Oh no, she's here
JJK.
still. She just like hangs
What?
out. Yeah.
Yeah, she hangs out. JJK, obviously, as you guys heard, has the best female cast in New Gen, so
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, it has it has Kugisaki,
it's got
it has Miwa, it has Satoru Gojo, has Zoro.
Oh yes, I forgot about that one. Thank you.
Oh, and the blood manipulation guy, Kamo from the
Yeah.
Kyoto class.
Yeah.
He comes back for a little bit.
Does he still look divorced?
Yes.
Okay.
And then they're like, "All right, everyone, we're gonna train to fight Sukuna," and he raises his hand and goes, "I'm leaving though." And they're like, "Okay," and he's like, "Bye."
That's my goat. I love him. You see, that's like a really, unironically, that's a cool little moment of characterization. I think more shonen should have that, where like you just have a character who's like, "This is insane. I do not want to do this."
Yeah, he's
I have,
literally
like,
no,
like,
yeah.
This is out of my weight class, bro."
I mean,
I'm leaving.
I liked it when MHA showed some of the heroes going like, "I'm good. I don't think I want to do that."
Yeah.
It's a shame we had like people like Death Arms doing it. Who gives a fuck about Death Arms? But stuff like that is cool. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Don't you mean Desute Goro?
My bad. My fault.
Yeah. Your fault for using the way more like handy localization that got randomly changed for no reason.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
It's all good,
Yeah.
man. I'm just gonna kill
JJK.
you.
Oh. I'm sorry.
It's okay. If you think about it, murder is a really intimate activity.
I either have to be killed or I have to go tweak behind a 7-Eleven like spinner or something like that.
So how are we feeling about the future of JJK then? Like,
I really don't give a shit, man.
I'm just kind of hopeful that we wrap it up here soon, right? I mean, how much more could there possibly be left?
There's no action figures left in the chest, bro. Like, we're out.
I'm still waiting for the inevitable chapter where he cuts back to Hikari and we get a chapter of Hikari
Oh
and
my
nobody
God.
cares. Because
I just
how do you
figured it
cut back
out.
to that now, right?
I just figured it out, dude. The last action figure is gonna be Koichi. Because he's not in
Wait.
MHA. He's gonna show up in JJK, bro.
He's gonna come back from spin-off land.
No, you got it twisted. I know who's gonna come back to save the day.
Yeah.
Nobara Kugisaki.
Oh my god, man.
She's gonna have her one eye is gonna be replaced with like the 6 eyes from one of Gojo's ancestors that they dug up. But because it's only one eye, she only has the 3 eyes, so she's less accurate with her curse technique than Gojo would have been. But she's made a binding vow that I don't know, she'll never eat fucking Burger King again, and in exchange, her one eye is twice as strong, so she has the 6 eyes again. Because Gege likes to overcomplicate things for no reason.
It's gonna be crazy, man. Because I know when Kugisaki comes back at this point, I'm gonna have to hear people say that this is like a good thing and that this is cool. That she was like not a character for like 4 years.
She's gonna come back and kill Sukuna with the woke agenda.
She's gonna come. No. She's gonna come back and job and die in one hit, just like everyone else. Especially because she's a woman. We saw Yuki. Come on.
Oh, poor Yuki. Yeah.
What happened? Oh yeah, wait. Did she? Yeah, she did die, didn't she?
Yeah.
Kenjaku
split her in half.
pulled the secret curse technique that he hasn't used since the Hyena era out, just like Sukuna. Learned it from his
was
boyfriend.
that the anti-gravity?
The anti-gravity,
mechanism?
Yeah.
Cool.
Gege and Hori.
That he had to fight the person whose curse technique is all about gravity.
Does Yuji have anything gravity related? Being his son?
Yeah. Give him a few minutes. though.
Okay, cool.
Gege and Hori really are in love. It was the same night the chapter that revealed that All for One gave Shiggy decay. That was the same night that it was revealed that Sukuna and Yuji's dad are brothers.
Hell yeah.
They're definitely writing together, man. There's no way.
Hell yeah.
They went to go see that one movie, they gave each other COVID, and the rest was history.
I'm more invested in that than I am in any of the mangas.
He was looking over at Hori's work, he saw Star Stripe, he's like, I want to do that too. I want to kill a woman, and then he made the Yuki fight.
Yeah, I want to kill a big strong woman in one battle and nothing else.
You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and say that both of them had the thought of having a female character get killed independently. It's just a feeling that there might be an underlying separate issue there.
I see.
All right. I mean, holy shit! I knew that people were sort of teetering a little with JJK, and that there was sort of that, oh my god, is it going to shit ambiance? But I didn't realize it was this wild.
Yeah,
it's great though if you understand it. It's a great manga though if you understand it, of course.
No,
yeah, obviously you're illiterate if you don't get it. If you don't like care.
That's true. I mean, I'm literally illiterate. I've never read anything in my life.
Yeah, I had to narrate all of these chapters for you. It was brutal.
Yeah, it was. Can you narrate my tax declaration next? I think the IRS is on me.
Yeah, I got you, man. He even had me like do all the sound effects too.
Oh yeah, that was great.
I had to do like all the reverb and shit. It was annoying, man.
Yeah, you do a mean Shigaraki voice though. You're really good at that.
Thank you. Yeah, you want to hear me do it right now?
Sure.
I'm Shigaraki. This is my Shigaraki voice.
Oh, that's crazy. I believe it. It's like he's here in the room with me.
Oh man, but the only thing that didn't work is that you didn't sound like you were being horrifically killed. So.
Oh, I'll work on that in the next.
Yeah, you're gonna need to add that in.
That's true. Like for the next take, could you be dead instead of alive?
Yeah, could you? Your Shigaraki was just silence.
I was doing my chapter 422 Shigaraki. I'll adapt to do a 423 Shigaraki.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Hell yeah. All right. Okay. Like any other. Is there more for JJK or?
No, I think we've naturally transitioned. So I think it's what the whole point of this is. It's time for the MHA section. God help us all.
Great chapters. I loved them.
Yeah, I mean the final arc. Yeah, MHA is really something. It's so good.
It's really just a better Shibuya if you deep it too.
It's a better
Deku and Shiggy clears Yuji versus Mahito because Yuji and Mahito had this flaw where they interacted as like people and human beings, and they actually had like a cool dynamic. And I really like that Hori decided to go with absolutely nothing for Deku and Shigaraki, and to have them do a staring contest for a year until Deku just sort of kills him. It's like really realistic, as some people say on Twitter.
Now you see, that's how I know you're fucking illiterate, because He called Mahito and Yuji human beings. Mahito was a curse.
I knew someone was gonna, I
Piece of
knew that was gonna
shit.
happen. I knew that was gonna
You
happen.
stupid piece of garbage.
It was really brave of Hori to dodge writing anything interesting between Deku and Shigaraki, and to have him literally go into his memories so that they don't have to talk. And then Deku comes out and he's like, "Well, that's cool. I think I'm just gonna kill you now."
It's really good, I think, to write a main character who never has an opinion on anything that happens, even when it should shift his entire worldview.
Isn't it crazy how Kudo, the dude who's been dead for like 100 years, came up with a plan on Deku's behalf for him to give up One for All, and a plan that killed Shigaraki, and Deku just like doesn't give a shit.
Also, hold on. Okay, this is. I know we're in the in the foreplay phase, but I just need to get this off. I already told Asa, but in the flashback, in the All for One flashback, when we see like Kudo and the Freedom Fighters together,
his name's Bruce.
Yeah, Bruce has a machine that can analyze which quirks you have.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 200 years ago.
It at least analyzes quirk factors. It can tell you have a quirk factor.
Yeah, and then 200 years later, they have to tell who has a quirk by looking at their pinkies, and they never know what quirk it is until it manifests. What's up with that?
Yeah, I didn't really know what to say when you told me that. I was like, yeah, why do they have that?
Yeah, why do they have like this super advanced tech thing?
Like in a broken down, run down abandoned building. He just has like a fucking like a Windows 95 PC, and he's like, you got 2 quirk factors in you, bro.
They're like, we gotta make camp for tonight. Do we have everything? Yeah, we got the tent, we got the cast iron skillet, and we got the PCR machine.
We got the supercomputer.
The IBM quantum computer. Set it right there next to the latrine.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get that off my chest because it's been bugging me.
I think it would be very interesting for you, Ocean, to talk about your entire experience catching up, because you started from earlier than you actually dropped, right? You started from the Shiketsu kids appearing.
Yeah, more. I think 380, like around when the Shiketsu kids first appear.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to see most of Endeavor versus Dabi.
Mm-hmm.
I got to see Deku versus Shigaraki. I got to see All for One versus Iron Might. And that whole shebang.
He gagged after that one. I understand.
Yeah. Yeah, my experience was interesting because I did genuinely try and go into this as, okay, like I have emotional distance from this. Like I'm over the fact that I'm just not gonna like this the way I used to. So I want to give it as fair of a chance as I could. Obviously, I'm a human being. I cannot completely detach myself from the fact that I left this series in utter disgust. But yeah, I gave it a fair shot, and I was continuously surprised at how much worse it got. Like, I did not expect to come out of this liking the final arc less. Like, a part of me was really certain that I was just, I don't know, that distance would have made it a little nicer, a little less biting. And maybe also, people always say that, oh, it's better on a binge. Which it might be, right? Like, it very well might be. But yeah, Endeavor versus Toya, pretty good. Like that. I'm kind of annoyed that Toya is probably gonna live. Like that kind of sucks. I feel like of everyone, he should be the one that's too far gone just on a physical level. Like the man's a fucking chicken nugget.
Yeah, he's a charred skeleton.
Yeah, I feel like that one's gonna feel pretty stupid if he survives, but I actually liked all for One's backstory, like his childhood and everything. That's pretty cool. I do think Hori specifying that he's the son of a sex worker.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when you sent me that message, you're like, I'm just not gonna look into that too deeply.
Yeah, it's just like I don't think that's something I need to think about too much, because otherwise the voices start again. That's the thing with this final arc. There's a lot of stuff in it that if I squint at it, I kind of like it. Like, I like All for One's backstory. I don't even... I hate that All for One's the final villain, but if Hori really wants to write a story that is about this, like, primordial evil, unwilling to let go of things and unwilling to, like, just let the world move on from him, If he really wants to write that story, fine. I can see elements of that in here that could have worked, or that probably worked for some people. I'm just not one of those people, because as soon as I stop squinting, it burns. I am not a fan of how All for One keeps coming back somehow. I am not a fan that Hori keeps trying to gaslight me into thinking that Deku and Shigaraki had a deeper connection than they ever did. Like, this is their 4th interaction in the series. Like, this is not
True.
and 2 of those interactions were a fight prior to this. So we have 3 fights if you count UA invasion as a fight, and 1 like talk. And I just feel like if you want to do this kind of story, if you want to do the kind of story where these 2 characters are meant to continuously parallel each other, they either need better parallels or more interactions. And I kind of didn't feel like I got that from them.
And it's weird because their entire relationship is parallels, right? And then you have All for One giving Shiggy to K, right? So like, oh, okay. So now what? Like now and you had like AFO literally creating and falsifying that heroic ambition inside of Shigaraki. He was like literally communicating with the kid, like walk in front of the truck, kids, it'll be great. Like what the fuck?
Don't you think it'll be hilarious if you jump in front of this truck?
Yeah, so, I was quite surprised with the chapter where he puts a hand on Kotoro's shoulder and is like, "You should cream pie your wife."
That's
was so crazy, man.
like, just imagine going out with your buddy, and he's like, "So, man, you fucking raw?" And that's like the whole conversation. And then after that, talking to the same guy and having him be like, "So, how you feel about beating your kid?" I think maybe you should, like, even Shigaraki's abuse has to have been created from somewhere else.
So crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's very telling that for the panel where he's like, "Oh, I inspired your father's strict ways," we only get like the smallest like drawing of them talking with no dialogue, because I think even Hori knew that. Yeah, how the fuck do you write a dialogue scene where someone convinces them to beat their child?
To beat their child.
And I mean, I've said this a million times back when I was a regular on this cast, back on Twitter when I was still like reviewing chapters there. Every time you make something All for One's fault, the story gets less interesting to me. Because and I guess that's the ultimate thesis of the series, right? That ultimately problems are produced by bad individuals, not bad systems. And if you just punch the bad guy hard enough, every single problem will fall apart because he just had his fingers in every single problem.
Yeah.
Like, and I guess in that sense, I guess I see why he killed Shiggy, because when Shiggy was this emblem of all the things that are wrong with quirk society, of all the ways that society fails to address the irregularities within them, fails to build supportive communities for people who don't have typically heroic quirks. The moment he stopped being that, because suddenly all the problems were just All for One's fault, yeah, I guess you can just kill him, because there's no point in redeeming him, because why would you? It means nothing anymore. And I do think it's really funny that the ultimate conclusion of MHA seems to be going towards, when people are too problematic, you simply have to kill them and hope that the next generation is better, and otherwise you keep killing them until there's better people, which... Does Deku know about the Hero Public Safety Commission?
I don't know. He's kind of stupid, so...
That is true, he is. Does All Might surely knew about them?
I mean, my thought was that he wouldn't know about them, and then like something cool would happen.
Yeah, I thought the whole point was that they were like very underground.
Yeah, and then like maybe something cool would happen when Deku, or not Deku, when All Might finds out because of like Nagant or something, and then you know All Might had to get character assassinated later on instead. So
yeah, no, hold on. Deku has to know because he knows about Nagant.
Yeah, but he is stupid though. I will reiterate.
Actually, wait. The movie characters have shown up in the manga now, right?
Yes.
So the movies are canon. They've been
canon. We moved on. We've accepted them.
Don't they work with the Hero Public Safety Commission in the third movie?
I mean, they know about the Hero Public Safety Commission, but like, it's kind of like, you know, the FBI getting up to crazy shit, where like the FBI exists, but you don't know what they're cooking.
True, but I mean, I don't know, because I was thinking about it while reading that it's kind of crazy that, like, in a typical hero story, eventually you get like the confrontation where the hero has to take an order from someone who's like shady or compromised,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, "Oh, you got to do your duty," and I'm like, "Oh, I don't believe this duty is right." And while I was sort of rereading and thinking about the Hero Public Safety Commission, I was like, "Wow, that seems like where this could go, right? Where Deku
Mm-hmm.
is supposed to finally confront the fact that there are parts of society that are not heroic, that are not good,
It
and it never happens." It's
it would
kind
have
of
been
weird.
so cool if Deku had pressures from like literally every front to kill Shigaraki. Like he had the Hero Public Safety Commission, like yeah, kill him. He had his friends, like yeah, you should probably kill him. Or like he had maybe not All Might, because I guess he's trying to take after Deku, but like the people around him all being like, yeah, you should kill him. And the Vestiges, like, yeah, you should kill him. And then Deku should have had to have proven himself, in some way.
Hmm.
But I
Well, see,
guess the
I
answer
thought
was
Gran
just to kill him.
Torino was kind of gonna be that when he was like, "Listen, kid, sometimes you gotta just snap a neck, okay?" And he was like, "I don't really want to do that." Actually, I kind of thought that was gonna be the moment where it was like the
The
old guard
most,
being like, "Sometimes you gotta
yeah,
just do awful things," and then Deku being like, "You know what? No."
the most pushback was that panel of Nana going like, okay, well, you tried, just kill him. And Deku was like, no, I'm not gonna. And that was it.
Hmm.
Not for
Yeah.
another 12 or
Yeah,
so
give me
pages.
give me a few chapters and then
Yeah.
I'll get it done. But
But that's the thing, right? Like, the general outline of the final war arc, it's kind of messy, and I'll probably say a few more things on that later. But if you squint at it, it's not too bad, right? Like this idea of Deku being forced to, in the end, kill Shigaraki could have worked. It could have worked within the context of like him having to mature and realize that, look, some people are in fact too far gone. Some people, just from a purely pragmatic point of view, you cannot keep them around. They're way too dangerous. I mean, I don't think Shigaraki got there in the end, but you could have done
yeah,
that. You could have done that more sensibly. Um, and I think it all really falls apart with the fact that Deku is such a passive non-character at this point. He has no thoughts on anything. He has no beliefs really besides just, people direct him at a target like a missile and he just
yeah.
goes off.
And it's funny because this is kind of the same exact thing that Nagant criticized him for, right? During their
Mhm.
fight. He just embodied it completely, which
Mhm.
I feel like with a more competent writer could have been the point,
Mhm.
but I don't think that's the point with Hori. I don't think that's I don't think that's what he's going for.
Yeah, because I mean, I think I texted you this while I was catching up, but in during the first UA invasion arc,
Mhm.
Shiggy gives this fake speech where he's like,
Yeah.
you heroes, you use violence to oppress us, but you
Mhm.
say that you oppress us because we use violence. Like that's a hypocrisy.
Mhm.
And All Might's like, you don't actually believe that though, bub. Um, and it's crazy that in hindsight, that is an extremely salient point. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
the heroes have done nothing but wield violence to essentially kill a bunch of mentally ill people.
Mhm.
Like, that's ultimately what this has boiled down to. Like, obviously, All for One needed to go. He was basically the devil. But for every other like League of Villains character, there's always this twinge of like, why why are you sending these kids to kill each other? Like, is this really the only way of doing this?
Yeah.
Or rather, is this something that the story really wants to portray as a necessary like action? I don't know. Seems kind of callous to
Yeah.
me.
I feel like so many things could have been done with Deku, but in the end, he's just a colossal flop, especially with that last page where it's supposed to call back to All Might having changed the weather when he first saved Bakugo from the sludge villain and
Right.
stuff.
Right.
Deku's triumphant moment where he gets to clear the sky and bring the sunlight back is killing a man that
Hmm.
he didn't even try to save. That's deranged to me.
Yeah.
The point that I think people are trying to make is that, oh, he saved Shigaraki from All for One, technically, asterisk, but
His plan that he went with because of Kudo's dumbass is why All for One came back.
yeah. Also,
Oh
that's
my
actually a
god, I
good
hadn't
point
even
too.
thought of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Um, it's also just fucking like it's weird to me how Deku not only has no thoughts for himself, but he also has like no actions of his own. because the Vestigers are all like, hey, you should kill this dude. He's like a fucking problem. And Deku's like, no, I don't wanna. And they're like, okay, then you know what? Here's my 38-step plan that I made for how we're gonna save him instead. You
We're just gonna kill
convinced
him.
me, kid.
Just
So
gonna
now
kill him
do
anyway.
only what I'm telling you to do. And it'll work. And then he's like, oh, I have to give up one for all. But then he doesn't get to be sad about it. Nana gets to be sad about it for him
Yeah.
and go, wow, Deku, you really care about this thing. You're the only character in this whole series that doesn't have an internal voice. You're not allowed to think. It's so weird to me.
Yeah, that's actually you bring something up that I've been thinking about for a while now, is that MH8 has kind of done something interesting, and by interesting I mean bad, where midway through the story the focalizer has changed. You guys know what a focalizer is? Like, do I need to explain it or?
No.
Okay, basically just the perspective through which we experience the story, right?
Mhm.
It's weird that for most of the story, we spent our time inside of Deku's head and had full access to all of his thoughts. And then after the first war, we got evicted.
Yeah, I don't remember who I was talking to about that. I don't remember if it was you or Zen or somebody, but I think Hori believes that after Villain Hunt, Deku was done as a character.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, that's the only reading I have, is that because it like you said, it's such a fundamental change, right?
Mhm.
It feels like he wrote Villain Hunt, he gave him the bath, his trauma was fixed. He was like, yeah, he's done. That's good enough.
Yeah, because the thing that's just so interesting to me is how after the war, we lose access to his thoughts, and you could spin that as a really interesting formal parameter change, right? You can be like, oh, the experiences during the war have twisted him so much that we don't get that access anymore. We do not get to connect with him on that level anymore. But if that was the intention, I think it's really backfired and has just made him extremely passive and hard to relate to, or not even relate to, hard to understand the character. Because he just ping pongs around without really, any motivation or any beliefs of his own. Because also, and this is, I think, the part that pisses me personally off the most, is this story initially seemed to be about, or at least at some point, seemed to be about bringing about a better future, bringing about a better society. But ever since this final war arc has really sort of taken root, it's really morphed into, no, this is about maintaining the status quo.
I agree.
Or rather, regaining it. Like, this is about how everything was fine, everything was good, and if you were upset with the way the world worked, that's your fault. Which is obviously where the best subplot of all time comes in, right? The mutants. Because that also feeds into that. Like, this whole idea of, like, things are fine, you just need to not rock the boat.
Yeah.
Which is why I've sent both of you my prediction for the ending, but I'm going to say it on the air as well for the folks. My money is that the story's going to end with the quirkless police, the Hero Public Safety Commission, and with the body of heroes being fused into one, like, safety organ that essentially works as mixed cops, in a sense, spearheaded, or at the very least supplemented by Deku. And the ending's going to be that Deku is the greatest cop of all time. And I don't know how likely that is, but it sure feels like that's where we're going here.
I mean, I got nothing to say because Hori, he very, very well could.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
it's
a
such a
hoary ass
weird
ending.
shift too to go, because like it really felt very strongly for a long time that it was like, Hero Society's kind of fucked. Shit's kind of not good. And if you think about it for like 10 minutes, it's pretty messed up, and we're gonna need, like, fresh blood to change the future and make it better. And now it really seems like the whole moral of the story is that, like, the world is fundamentally good, actually.
I think
Yeah.
there are some very obvious heel turns by Hori. I think AFO is a prime example. I don't think anybody at all in human history would have predicted that AFO's entire goal was to take over Tomura someday. I don't think anyone thought that. I don't think Hori thought that, and that's why he was picking quirks that were compatible with Tomura. That's an obvious heel turn later. Second, now with future context, we know that Decay is Overhaul for some reason. It makes me believe that was the initial intent even less. Because why would AFO, the big bad at the end of the day, take Overhaul and make it worse so that he can have it later but worse? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, wasn't it that he's like, I took away the power to create, so you can only destroy.
Yes.
He nerfed
like,
it.
Yeah.
And there you go, Ocean Man. There's the answer. My cat just knocked everything off a desk. I'll be back.
Is your cat called Horikoshi?
But it's a good point because like him having Overhaul, just like having the quirk there, makes no fucking sense because why wouldn't you just repair your own body? Right? Like
Yeah.
if you have the quirk that allows you to do anything in the whole world, it's like the strongest quirk ever, except maybe the stupid Stars and Stripes one. Why would you not just like use it and fix your body? And people keep pointing to the like, well, he doesn't take quirks that are difficult. And I'm like, okay, you're telling me this dude can string along like a 200-year-long plot of like intricate webs where every bad thing that's ever happened to any human being, some dude on the street like trips and it cuts to a cutaway of him laying the banana peel down, and then you're telling me that like he can't figure out a quirk? The Mr. Quirks can't figure out a quirk?
Also, I'm pretty sure the whole thing with like, Overhaul is like really hard to control. That's fan canon.
It's a headcanon, yeah. It's never
that's not a real thing. But yeah, no, because Asa, you were talking about like the heel turns. I believe that there's been a lot of heel turns, but part of me has been sort of settling into the acceptance that like maybe this story was just always going to be kind of bad, and Hori just accidentally wrote or set up things that were way more competent than what he could deliver.
That were way more interesting than he ever thought of.
Yeah, because I there's just this feeling with a lot of early MHA and then comparing it with what I read sort of over the last day, this feeling of, oh, you set up society is wrong and it's creating villains out of its own injustices, and you thought the answer to that was actually the villains are wrong and they just shouldn't have become evil. Like that's just your actual take on that. Wow, okay.
I'm very curious because we're recording this at 8:30 p.m. or 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, which is like less than 12 hours from the leaks, because this was a brutal chapter to end on a break week as well. A lot of people think that Tenko will be like a vestige now, which in my opinion is incredibly cruel. To have Tenko be like a vestige in Deku's thoughtless brain, having to watch the life he'll never get to live. That's very cruel to me personally. So I'm very interested to see what this next chapter is, because I want to see if there is any competency left in Horikoshi's brain or not.
I cannot imagine what he could write to salvage this, because thing is, that's the thing. I don't think there is anything to salvage from his perspective, because he has written the story he wanted to write, which is
right. Yeah, I think that's the crux of it, right? Is that like everyone's going, wow, or there's obviously the people who are like, oh my god, what a genius, this is the greatest thing ever.
Well, yeah.
And then there's the people who are like, wow, it seems like he lost the plot somewhere. And I don't think that he lost the plot. I think people just didn't expect him to have like the weird quasi-conservative view of society. Like, I think that's the problem. Because, back in the mutant arc and everything, the fucking forbidden arc, everyone, a lot of people, there was a lot of color waving there, like everyone kind of revealing who they are when they're like, well, actually, the mutants were wrong, and yada yada.
I mean,
but Horikoshi kind of buried the lead there a little bit, right? Like you look at that arc and you're kind of like, oh, that's just what he thinks about this stuff, because the whole point of that arc was like, society is fundamentally good, and taking any action that may be considered too drastic is actually bad, no matter what it may be. Because people are always like, oh, well, they were attacking a hospital. But it's like, yeah, because the heroes put Kurogiri there. Like, that's why they were there. The heroes created a situation in which attacking a hospital was their only option because they wanted Kurogiri back, right? Like, if they put Kurogiri in a prison, they would have attacked the prison. So it's not like they're just like rampaging to attack a hospital.
They notably did not even attack any of the staff, by the way.
Yeah, like they didn't really do anything other than just
the only violence they were going to inflict are upon heroes, aka state-sanctioned violent enactors. It's Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. It's just that Horikoshi did the most stereotypical liberal thing and pointed out all the problems and had all the wrong solutions.
And no solution for it. And like, you know, a lot of what I heard anyway, because obviously that arc was an easy one to make fun of online for a while, so everyone did. Um, but a lot of the, I guess maybe backlash isn't the right word, but like answer back that I got when I was like, hey, this is a really weird take on like minority unrest and stuff,
Mhm.
was that Horikoshi is a Japanese man, not an American
Oh,
man,
brother.
and he wouldn't really understand how it would look politically to Americans. He's not a conservative at all. Definitely, he doesn't actually think any of this stuff. It's
Man,
just that he
if
doesn't get it.
He
Um,
just
okay,
and I think it's
first
coincidentally
pretty
aligns
obviously that he
himself.
does get it.
Yeah.
I oh, oh my god. First of all, if you want to write a plot line like this, crack open a single book. Second of all, the way that the race stuff was portrayed in MHA seems way too on the nose to not be inspired by the 2020 BLM riots, personally, in
I
my
agree.
opinion.
I agree.
Mhm.
So he definitely no, he definitely
Yeah, he's aware. But another thing about that too is like the internet is a thing, and
yeah.
Horikoshi's not like a 75-year-old man, right?
He has a
Yeah.
responsibility to portray these things correctly.
Yes, I agree. As an author, if you're going to put them in, you should probably do some research on them. But it's also not like Horikoshi is not aware of like the world around him. There's a
Yeah.
weird just a little guying of Horikoshi that goes on in the fandom. It's very strange. That like
Yeah.
anytime he
Yeah,
does anything, it's just not his
he
fault.
just
He's just
gets
a little dude.
regularly infantilized. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
he's it's just strange.
because you asked, so you called it a responsibility to like portray these things correctly. I actually want to sort of expand that and say, even if you don't want to see it as a responsibility, if you, as a grown adult with a published piece of art, choose to depict a political topic like that through that art, maybe you don't have a responsibility to depict it quote unquote correctly, but everyone in the world who looks at it has the right to look at that and go,
yeah,
that's fucked up. That's inaccurate. That's
yeah.
not that's not a responsible portrayal of it. So in that sense, it doesn't even matter if it's like, oh, does he have a responsibility to his readers to be accurate? It's like he's a person producing public art. He will be judged for what he puts in there. That's just the way it works. And yeah, I mean, I can feel we're sort of segueing into into the little pocket dial that people on Twitter have, where they need to choose whether or not Hori is a mastermind genius who has everything planned out versus he's a little guy possessed by the will of God and has
Yeah,
no
the
control over
will
what he
of
writes.
all for one
This
sentient spirit that writes the
this
story
is
through him.
yeah. This is actually a topic that has been increasing on MHA Twitter, especially, and I personally took it for granted because I thought this was just a given that stories are written by a guy and they're not real. But I guess apparently that's not known.
I mean, I'm so glad that I'm so out of touch with like Twitter drama. The only thing I saw is Zen fighting for his life. Or like
It
getting
happened. It happened a while ago. It started because it was about Shiggy dying, I think, and people were like, "Oh, well, he had to kill Shiggy," blah 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 blah. And I think it was like Bubba. Of course, it was fucking Bubba. He was like, you know that he's like not AFO's not real, and he didn't have to take over. And then everyone interpret. I think it's an obvious, genuine, intentional misinterpretation of Bubba's statement. They're like, "Oh, you think AFO's not real? Like he's not in the story?" And like, come on,
That's a dumb
he's
What-
thing to say.
What, really? People were actually saying that?
that is what they said to Bubba.
Huh. Children are so fun, aren't they?
Yeah,
And
I should never have to read a teenager's thoughts on anything ever in my whole life.
and it really is popped off because Rukasu quote retweeted the people who were trying to dunk on Bubba, and he was like, "But he's right though."
My goat.
Yeah, well, I think the biggest example of it is with
The
Eri.
arms. Oh,
When Eri
yeah.
comes back only for the purposes of mutilating her own body to heal Deku. And everyone's like, well, what were they supposed to do? Deku needs his arms to fight. He can't fight without them. And my immediate response to that is, well, you only blew them off one chapter ago for no reason.
Yeah, just
It's-
don't.
He didn't get into like a tragic accident and lose his arms, right? Like
It's-
he's not real.
It's especially funny when you keep in mind that like the way mangaka work is that he was probably drawing like finishing the drawings on Deku losing his arms as he was drafting the Eri heal chapter too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like he knew it was happening.
Yeah.
The whole
Yeah.
there was the
Well,
plan the entire
it's
time.
like Sukuna and the rattle, right? Like Sukuna obviously only got the rattle so that Higuruma's domain wouldn't kill him immediately. Deku very obviously only lost his arms so that Eri could have a moment. And it's just that the moment is fucked up and gross.
It's really
Yeah, I was about to
gross.
say, like, important to note that the moment fucking sucks and
Yeah.
shouldn't have happened.
Really
The moment is
nasty,
awful in every way imaginable.
I'm gonna quickly have to hop off in a second. You guys keep talking.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like there's this weird insistence that both MHA is genius theming and genius writing, and also Horikoshi is not part of that process. It's the will of the stars divining to him what he has
That's
to
right.
write. And back in the mutant stuff, a big defense, like I said, was not just that he's a Japanese man, but that a lot of the defense was that he obviously, of course, doesn't have any conservative viewpoints. He just stumbled into them on accident. Like that was a legitimate defense I saw a lot of the time. And I don't think that it was like a malicious because I think the some of the well, what's Horikoshi supposed to do about it stuff is like malicious might not be the right word, but it's intentionally dishonest, right? Like
Yeah, I agree. It's bad faith.
it's bad faith. It's intellectually dishonest to suggest that. But I think that people saying that Horikoshi can't think conservative things aren't being intentionally I think that they're just confused at how, because a lot of the people that I see saying or saw saying that back during this were very much not conservative people. And I don't know if it was like, well, I don't want to think that the author who writes the story that I'm writing is actually like pro cop, pro, the status quo of society is actually good, and if you have any problems with it, you're the aberration that needs to be fixed and removed. But I think he consistently proves that the mutant arc was not a fluke, and that is genuinely how he feels about societal issues.
A lot of people will say it's just a story, but like the stories and art in general are kind of a snapshot of not only a point in time but also the author's thoughts, right? It's like when you go back and you watch really really old television, right? And you see that like the female characters are kind of treated like shit, right?
Uh-huh.
Or they're forced into really stereotypical gender roles. That might not be because the creator of that television show or whatever is actively trying to enforce those gender roles. That's just how powerful that the social conditioning was at the time. It's that was the norm, and you can see how that was the norm because it's portrayed through all these television shows. So Hori writing all of this somewhat conservative shit isn't because he's like, I'm gonna write a conservative ending to this manga. It's just the world he exists in, and it's his worldview. So it slips in, whether intentional or not.
Holy shit, I did come back to the best part.
Hey man, what's up?
Hey, yeah, sorry, health thing. So we're talking about how Hori's mangaka J.K. Rowling?
Yes.
Basically that there was a lot of
saying,
defense. Man. Well, yeah. Basically there was a lot of defense during the mutant arc that if what Horikoshi was writing was conservative, weird asterisks everywhere, then it wasn't on purpose. And I think that like that's obviously incorrect, especially now. Like I don't think you could even argue that whether or not you think he is an actively conservative individual, I don't think anybody knows his political beliefs, right?
And no one ever will if he's smart about it.
Correct. Whether or not you think that that's intentional, like obviously his worldview is society is innately good, and if you just wait, it will catch up with good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm gonna say, if Toga is confirmed dead, we're gonna have a real conversation about Horikoshi and LGBT characters.
Not to hijack the LGBT conversation, but also women broadly, because I think I texted you that at one point where it was like, isn't it interesting how the story started out with about a male main character whose whole gimmick is that he brutalizes and cripples himself and then has to like, overcome that, and like his injuries are a sign of like learning and strength.
Mm-hmm.
And then we turn around and if you're an adult woman in MHA, you're gonna get brutalized and crippled, and it will not make you stronger. It
not
will
even just an
make you
adult,
worse.
man. Ochako
Yeah.
got taken out one stab. Eri got mutilated. Like, holy! I don't know if we can beat the allegations anymore, boy.
Yeah, it's just
I,
strange to me that it's a question as to whether or not Davi will survive when he was literally just glowing bones and nothing else.
hmm
And it's been essentially all but stated that Toga is dead. I find that extremely strange.
If
hmm
Toga is dead, we're getting right into the barrier gaze talk. That's all I'm saying.
My
Hell yeah.
my hope is that we just haven't seen it and that she's okay. Because we see
Because
Ochako in the
oh my
helicopter,
god,
and so my thought is like maybe they got to Toga as well,
yeah,
and Toga's
it's
not
just
dead.
it's especially nasty because we've always known that Toga was bi because of volume extras, but the moment that she indicates that she's into women in the manga, she fucking dies immediately after. It's
Immediately dies.
crazy.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's not great. And also
mm.
the situation in which to create her death is extremely contrived. Like
Yeah.
Bakugo got his heart exploded and he got stitched back up by a ninja worm and he's fine. He's just like there and is okay. Like
He's got back up twice.
he's just
Yeah.
totally fine now.
Got
Ready
back
to
up to
he
kill
killed
Shirakumo
Kurogiri
again.
just to blow him up.
Yeah.
Um, but Ochako got stabbed like with a knife once, like just a regular knife, not the knife on the arm of the most powerful quirk user in history, just a regular knife.
Which Gran
Um,
Torino survived.
yes, Gran Torino got donutted by Shigaraki's entire fist, and Gran Torino's body is only about 6 inches bigger than Shigaraki's entire fist. So that hit every organ he's ever had. And he's fine. But Ochako
Yeah.
got stabbed once by a knife, and Toga's like, okay, the only way that I can save you is by giving you all of my blood. You're if she was so close to dead that the only way a blood transfusion could save her is if it was her entire amount of blood, her a whole human body's worth of blood, she would already be dead anyway.
Yeah. You see, stuff like that is why I sometimes wonder if Hori, because obviously, as a published author, he must have like a structure atlas somewhere, right? Like a
Right.
big sheet of paper or a giant document of like how everything needs to play out, like all of his structure. I wonder if he writes moments first and then writes the
Like
like
how to
scenes
get
around
there.
them. Yeah. Well, not just
No,
how
I
to get there, but like the
100% he does.
specifics.
100% he does.
Yeah. Because like for example, the Eri stuff as well, right? Like Eri helping Deku to reclaim his arms after him losing his arms has been like teased for so long. I can see that being like a pin on a pin board by itself.
Yeah, like two of the best moments in this war arc were like the Todoroki stuff, which the road to get there was full of contrivances and random shit. But like there's a certain shift it feels like when you're reading the stuff that Hori has thought of for a long time. Maybe not
hmm
the way to get there, but like he's like this moment sounds cool. And it is kind of cool, but like the way to get there is plagued with abominations, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
like I can imagine like the Toto fam stuff. He was like, "Oh, this sounds cool." You know, Endeavor flying to the sky with Dobby is about to explode. How do I get the family there? Oh, for some reason the evacuation system goes straight through the combat zone. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Or like
Naturally.
for Toga and Ochako, he's like, they'll actually have a dialogue. Ochako will have more of a brain than the main character. And then what do I do? I guess we stab her and then Toga dies.
hmm
So I
Which is
think, yeah,
yeah, because I think I texted you that as well while I was reading. I see the like constant like switching between perspectives in the
mhm,
final arc as like an artifact of that insecurity. Because it's like if you have one continuous flow of action per event, that flow needs to make sense.
mhm.
But if you keep intercutting, you can have each scene move the scene into the position you want it to be in, right? So you can cut away from fight A because you don't know what to do with it now to fight B, and then fight back, and then cut back to fight A, and suddenly all the things you wanted to
Yeah,
be the
things have
case
progressed.
are the case. Yeah, everything it's progressed to the point where you want it. It's I mean, obviously I can't prove that, but it definitely feels to me
It's,
like an
I mean,
artifact of that.
that's literally the entirety of Deku versus Shigaraki because their fight was 90% off screen
Yeah,
until except for the climax where he dies in 2 pages.
and then where they have the most stilted conversation in the entire
Yeah,
manga.
yeah.
Like Hori got tired. He didn't
Deku
even want to draw
finally
like panels for half of it.
Deku finally speaks to Shigaraki and he's just like, huh.
So
And
what's this?
then, hmm,
Yeah, no, you go.
I was gonna say, and then he says, anyway, tell Spinner that I tried. And then Spinner's like brain dead in a hospital right now, like face down in the tiles.
Yeah, I'm glad that Shiggy got to like address the League of Villains at the end, and
Mhm.
Hori made it so that he specifically, again, doesn't mention twice.
Yep, I
Like,
think. Well, Shigaraki died. No mention of him a single time.
yeah, like
Also, what does Deku mean by it's already been destroyed? What does that mean?
I don't know. That was actually the thing I was about to ask.
Yeah.
Like, if either of you have any idea what that's supposed to mean?
It's been a whole thing in the community where people are like, what does that mean? And I don't think anybody has answered. I don't think anybody knows. Somebody left a comment on one of my streams actually where they were like, it's because Shigaraki destroyed the system. And no, he didn't. He didn't do anything.
No, he didn't. Yeah, no, the system's fine.
Shigaraki came out the cave fluid and then got taken over and then died. Like he didn't do anything.
Yeah, like, oh my god. Actually, you know what? I think the ending might piss me off more if they're like,
Oh.
now society is fine.
Society
like,
is healed.
There's a 90% chance that happens, Ocean Man. I don't know what to
Yeah,
tell
I
you.
think that's probably gonna happen. The way that I read that line, it's already been destroyed, is that when Shigaraki said, even to the bitter end, I kept fighting to destroy, and Deku says it's already been destroyed, is what he meant is all for one. Therefore, the only thing that actually needed to be fixed is gone.
Which is also such an awkward way of phrasing that, though.
Yes, well, I mean, English translations have not been good in anything lately, so that wouldn't shock me. But
there's also a weird thing. I read the original JP, and in the fan scans and Caleb both missed it. But when at the very final dialogue panel for Shigaraki, where he says his name Tomer Shigaraki, in the original Japanese, that's in quotation marks, but not anywhere else for some reason.
Is it in quotation marks or is it in square brackets?
It's in quotation marks.
Oh, even okay. Interesting.
So I don't really know why that wasn't brought over.
Because square brackets can sometimes be like, Araki loves to do that, where it's supposed to be like this emphasis, almost as if you're talking about a title, right? Like, you know, the whole thing in like JoJolion or the JoJo lands where it's like, oh, I have to go to that place. And in English, it's, you know, bold and has like a little drawing next to it. It's kind of like that. So, but
unless I'm misremembering, but I don't think I am. It was in quotation marks, but for some reason, nobody that translated it did that.
Interesting. Is that for the people who like are coping that Shigaraki's dead, but Tenko's gonna be alive?
Yes, that's the cope for chapter 424 being Tenko Shimura rising. He rises into the spirit realm, probably.
Oh, it's gonna be great when we finish recording and the leaks come out and it's somehow worse than anything we've theorized.
Yeah, anything that we've mentioned here, it's even worse than we possibly imagined.
The first page, Toga's dead body being lowered into the the casket being lowered into the ground. It's gonna go crazy.
Toga's corpse being buried into the casket, and she's all alone. Because there's no one to come to her funeral except Ochako.
Yeah, but she's dead too.
But bro, I can't wait for the final chapter where everyone's in their government mandated heterosexual marriages with one or two kids.
they're Boruto couples. Yeah, that's gonna be pretty banger.
Bakugo and Kami, bro.
Oh, let's go. My OTP.
The characters that have interacted 2 times ever on screen.
Well, that is kind of a hallmark of the Naruto couples ending.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Although I did have another idea for a possible ending where like it ends without a time skip and it's like they're all still repairing and figuring shit out, and then Deku gets a call from his dad, and that's when we meet his dad.
I have so many things to say about Deku's dad. I'll save it for the retrospective, though. I have so many thoughts on Deku's dad, man. It's crazy.
The final line of the manga is Deku's dad asking him, "So, son, how's school been? How was your Hero Academia?"
Yeah, how was your Hero Academy? And then it ends.
Deku's dad is actually such a fucking colossal loser, dude.
Yeah, what's the excuse for why he's not here? He's like just
overseas.
There is none. All we know is that he works overseas. There's no excuse for him to have never showed up a single time in his entire life. And there's no reason for Deku in a series where familial bonds are so unbelievably important to have never thought about his dad a single time. There's no reason for it. It's just a straight fumble.
Yeah,
there could have been the fatherless arc, bro. That's all I'm saying.
There could have been a whole lot of little arcs, you know, potentially before the final arc.
Can you imagine if like before Deku decided to tell Shoto you should be cool with your dad, if there was like a twinge of like, hey, I'm not cool with my dad either because he kind of just bounced. That could have been an interesting way to segue into Endeavor Agency, especially.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is just a case where Hori pulled out a trope without really thinking about its ramifications. Because, oh, my dad works in America or overseas is kind of manga speak for he's not going to come up or he's
Yeah, he
just
ain't showing up.
don't think about it. Yeah. And
then you
then
have-
Hori accidentally wrote a story
Yeah.
about familial bonds. or
And then you have
somewhat
Hori
about them.
going to a convention saying, yeah, his dad will appear eventually, and then he doesn't until the final page probably.
Yeah, like what was the? Yeah, I guess he has to show up in the final chapter because there's no other chance unless
Death
All
of
for
One, you say
One.
it? Yeah, here we go.
All for One transferred his consciousness into Deku's dad beforehand.
Oh my
'cause
god,
he
Kenjaku.
planned for it. Yeah,
He's gonna
And-
show up with the stitched forehead.
it's not even gonna be like explained in universe. He just shows up with a stitched forehead, and the entire reader base is like, "Oh fuck."
Everyone's like,
just
oh my
ends
god, it's
right there.
Kenjaku.
It's like everyone's been battered so much by like this avalanche of non-stop fighting that it's all blurring together. Jujutsu
See,
Kaisen, My
that's
Hero
it.
Academia.
That's it. I said earlier that Koichi can go fight Sukuna, and then Kenjaku can come to MHA. They can swap. They can character swap. It'd be cool.
Let's fucking go. But okay, but this has to be the end, right? No way is there more.
I think this is the last volume. We have probably like 11 chapters left, and I think Hori will do a long and probably very underwhelming and boring epilogue.
Mm-hmm.
I
You
think the final fight itself, like for the war, might end next chapter. To be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, what is even left? Also, I really like how they're like, America heroes roll out, and it's like, dog, the fighting's done. There's nothing left for you to do.
Yeah, they're gonna get there like 9 hours later.
Yeah, they're gonna take their
they show
chartered
up-
flights to Japan.
This guy only shows up when the work's already done, man.
It's like they fucked up the time zones like I used to do with you, Zen. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's like a weird cosmic horror where every time I think about this final arc, I find new things to get mad at.
Exactly. And
And-
that's why the people who say it's better on a binge have been wrong for me every time, because every time I reread it, whether it be for the stream or the retrospective, it just gets worse.
I'm kind of at the point where I don't even know if it's that healthy anymore for me to think about it. Like, I'm kind of the thing is, like, it's been said, it's been done, like everyone kind of knows at least where I stand. And I know where I stand. Like, not at this point, there's nothing Hori can do to win me back. So I'm kind of at the point where I'm sort of in the process of accepting that, yeah, my energy on this series has been wasted mostly. Like,
Yeah.
there's just, I guess I just gave him way too much credit for years and didn't
Yeah.
realize that what he was setting up was just infinitely less interesting than what I thought he was doing. Because I know we talked
Yeah.
about like the shift and like the heel turns, but I think to some degree, we just have to accept that Hori is just not very good at this. Aside from the art, the art's fantastic all the
A
time.
lot of people come into my stream and they're like, if Hori makes a second manga, would you read it? And I'm like, no. Why would I do that?
Yeah,
only if he's just the artist.
Yes.
it's
Uh,
just strange. It's strange to see where it was and now where it is. It's just very odd to me.
Yeah, like it's a weird case where he, for a long time, had a pretty good track record of setting stuff up that sounded interesting, and now we're here and we realize, oh, a lot of that was mostly by accident.
Yeah. All that being said, all those little details. Great arc though. Love it. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Hori did the best he could because I mean he doesn't have
Yeah.
control over it.
Yeah.
Like All for One was there and he just had
Mhm.
to do the right thing with it. Like he couldn't have changed it. Like he's my goat. Love him.
He's doing his best to protect us from All for One's writing style.
I think I do this bit every time Zen and I do the MHA section. Like I say all this shit at the end. I'm like, other than that though, it was great.
It was good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
other
it was
than that,
great.
it's fantastic. I mean, you kind of have to, considering the babies that get upset every time you have anything to say about this manga that isn't gargling dick sucking. But that's just
Dude,
Separate problem.
I haven't made an MHA video in 8 months, and they're still so mad. You haven't made an MHA video in like over a year, and they're still they still talk about you like you haunt the community.
Yeah, you're the
the
boogeyman
specter-
of the community.
The
I'm all for
specter,
one.
yeah, the specter of MHA hate that has taken over Twitter.
You've
I think-
secretly had your hands in all of the Twitter hate. You're behind the scenes.
I mean, I am close to Asa, and Asa is basically Twitter Shigaraki. So in a sense, yeah. I guess I'm getting ready to absorb you, Asa.
I'm Twitter Shigaraki in that I haven't had anything to say in months.
Who's Twitter Deku?
Any number of people who used to glaze MHA that have suddenly disappeared after the final arc.
Let's go. I don't know. I think in my case, because as I said, I don't really keep up with stuff, so I don't even really know what people are saying about me, if they are saying anything. But sort of my gut feeling would be that it's just that for such a long time, my videos were the thing people would link to if they needed to defend MHA. And I think, I'm sure some people feel a little betrayed by the fact that I've kind of turned around and been like, nah, this shit's bad.
It's like, they should understand completely, considering you made that Shigaraki video, and now look where we are.
Yeah.
So, like, what are you supposed to do? Like, and
I mean,
it reminds me of, like, because like you said, people will link it to defend things, right? And that's how I felt about my All Might video. My All Might video is honestly I think it's still one of my best. I think a lot of people were of the belief that All Might should have died in Kamino, but I was kind of spearheading this, like, I think All Might has this arc beyond that of finding a new method of heroism and finding out a way to be a hero besides fighting, and it felt like at the time every single person agreed with me. They thought that I had a good take on All Might until Iron Might happened, and then it was a bad take.
Mm-hmm.
Fandom revisionism is crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think, as I said, as someone who hasn't been into it for a while, the impression I always got from the MHA community was that, well, at first I was like, oh, surely it's not that bad. Like, every fandom is just kind of annoying. Yeah. But in hindsight, it's unique in its militancy.
Yes.
And its, like, ability to completely memory hole previous, like, consensuses into something completely new. Which is very annoying. And is also one of the main reasons I stepped away, because I was like, there's no point in talking to people who will from one day to the next completely change what they think about something just to align themselves with the current good take of the week.
I mean, there are people who are tweeting current day that Deku has never had issues with self-worth. And I'm like, that is his entire character in the earlier acts. And the only thing I can wonder is why, if you're gonna be bad faith about something, why are you doing it about a comic book? I don't understand.
Go out there and be bad faith about real things.
Yeah,
go be bad faith about stuff that matters.
Go be a right-wing grifter, man. Holy shit.
Speaking of grifting, how's the, like, what's MHA YouTube like currently? Like, is there anyone?
I don't think it really exists.
Oh damn! It just disappeared.
I think when you and I stopped making MHA videos, I'm sure there's some people doing it, but like, it's got no motion, man.
Okay, yeah, because I used to get like MHA videos recommended to me, and obviously I haven't really interacted with the series in a while, so maybe that's just the algorithm being like, oh, he's not interested. But I haven't really even seen like new anime channels like really pop off.
Nope. I think MHA coverage is more or less dead. I know there's one guy, Mighty Gazelle. I don't really know him at all, but I know he does like chapter reactions. Any MHA content that still exists are chapter reactions. That's about it.
Damn. Well, that puts a lot of the comments I get on my MHA videos recently into perspective. Because when I announced that I was catching up, there were quite a few people who were like, "Oh, finally! I've been waiting on a new MHA video from you." And I'm like,
bad news.
Bad news. Oops, all Monster Hunter.
This podcast episode will be one of 2 of your final MHA appearances ever.
Yep. Because that's the other thing. When I was catching up, I was like, no way am I talking about this on Twitter. Because I'm going to have the most tedious fucking babies in my mentions again. Talking about some nonsense like, oh, you were always just a grifter and a hater. And it's like, man, I can't tell you what I think about you because I need to not get suspended on Twitter.
Yeah, I need my Twitter account to exist still.
Yeah,
So
it's for my business. But yeah, like, because that's the other thing. I think for me, I might have even stuck around until the end and wouldn't have pivoted to Monster Hunter, although I was getting the hyperfixation, so I was going to do it eventually.
Yeah.
But I might have stuck around longer if it wasn't just such a fucking chore talking to people about this series. Shout out to Rukasu, who I know basically not at all, but they were very, very nice about it when, people were
They were,
fucking
yeah.
hounding me for days.
They were.
Yeah.
I also respect that Rukasu used their platform to stay, because like bullying people like Bubba has just become acceptable basically in their spaces. So I respect Rukasu for tilting the scale. And it's funny because as soon as the scale got tilted and it wasn't, hip and cool to dunk on people like Bubba, they deleted the tweet and went private and started hiding.
Yeah, of course.
threw a huge fit too. Like,
Yeah, they did throw a huge fit.
a massive
that's
piss baby fit about how unfair it was that a big account retweeted them.
Oh,
Mhm.
bro, I love
I
the
could
big
get
account,
harassed,
small account
says
shit.
person
I should be
actively harassing.
I should be allowed to say whatever I want to you, but you shouldn't be allowed to respond.
Oh yeah, that's typical. That's actually in general just online. People have this idea
Yeah.
that as long as you constantly think that you're the little guy, you should always be allowed to do anything, and no one should ever like rebuke in kind.
Mhm.
Yep.
It's like what the fuck happened to talk shit get hit? Like we used to
It's
understand this.
It's especially funny because Rukasu's reply was like so gentle.
It wasn't even like mean. It was.
He was just
he
like,
quote
he's
tweeted
right
the person
though.
being an asshole and was like, "But he's correct." Like,
That was it. And that was worth everybody is saying Rukasu was quote unquote mishandling his platform.
Oh, I'm about to mishandle your platform, if you know what I mean.
Thank God, man. Finally some good fucking food, man. Let's go.
Oh, let's fucking go. Oh, I'm gonna order some food after this is done. You reminded me. But yeah, no, I think that's also kind of what's led, at least in my eyes, like to the shrinkage of My Hero stuff. It's just it's such a chore to deal with people. Like I've even seen it. It's one of the few times where I've seen it reflected in like my IRL circles because my girlfriend, two of my best friends, a lot of sort of people I casually knew, they all were into MHA, and they all dropped it around Villain Hunt or in the final arc. Funnily enough, also happened with JJK.
You ever think that's because of your evil AFO influence?
Yes, actually, I do think that. Like every evening when I got into bed with my girlfriend, I'd be like, "Hey, sweetie, what are you doing?" And you'd be like, "Oh, I'm reading MHA." And I just start yelling curses, 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 curses at
fucking hex her.
I T-pose and I start reciting the Bible backwards until she stops reading.
No, it's funny you say that though, because my girlfriend also dropped after Villain. She dropped it during Star and Stripe. And
oh
it's like,
hell yeah!
There's a commonality here, and it's you and me, Ocean Man. That's the commonality.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we are poisonous influences upon our.
True. We are blights upon the lands known as the perfection of MHA.
Yeah, I mean, I did get my girlfriend to watch 1,100 episodes of One Piece with me, so maybe I am a blight.
Yeah, you are actually a bad person.
Okay, this is the part where I shill One Piece. Which is a wild character development considering what I used to say about that series.
Oh, brother.
It's good. It's actually really good.
If I ever start One Piece, it's only gonna be because you told me to.
That's very sweet of you.
A lot of other people have told me, and I'm just like, I don't care. But if it's you saying it, hits different.
It does.
It's got that good feel to it.
It's long. Like you just that's just a thing you need to make peace with. Like everyone who says like, "Oh, it's not that long. Like it's fine." No, it's long as fuck, and you just have to make peace with that. And
Look,
for us, it was like we watched a live action, and we were like, "Well, we kind of want to see more of this. Let's just watch the live action portion, but in the anime, and see if we're into this." And then we were, and a year later, we were caught up.
as long as for each episode I watch, I get a little kissy on the forehead at night. That's all that matters.
Oh, brother. You're getting way more than that.
I think it'd
sorry,
be really
Zen.
funny. It'd be
I'm
really
sorry,
funny
Zen.
if. Go
Yeah.
on.
I was just gonna tell Zen that I'm cheating on him in front of him.
It's
Oh,
not
that's
cheating.
okay. That's
We're all
okay.
in this together.
This is a poly. It's the only way we're gonna survive.
The Shonen and Chill polycule.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've always thought it would be funny if I started at One Piece and like I start doing like arc by arc reviews without telling anybody, and it just pops up one day. Because there's a lot of people in my community who really want me to start One Piece.
Just
I was
a
also going to.
10-hour-long video of
Yeah.
an entire series retrospective on One
I-
Piece that you've been
I
hiding.
was going to. I said that if ReZero Season 3 was announced for 2025, I would read One Piece, and then it didn't. So then I didn't start it, and a lot of people were sad about that.
Oh.
So I thought it'd be funny if one time, if I ever do start it, if I just dropped it on the channel one day without ever hyping it up at all.
Yeah, because here's the thing, right? Because when I was talking earlier about how, we lost access to Deku's thoughts and you can do something interesting with that, I was thinking about One Piece. Because One Piece has that. Because the main character, Luffy, I believe he has less than 5 thought bubbles in the entire manga. Because like the whole point is that you're seeing him from the outside, right? And it really works with him. It's just a shame it doesn't work with Deku.
Yeah, he sucks, man. He's kind of ass.
So what are we feeling for My Hero? Like a 9 out of 10 in total? Like 10?
I was thinking that we have to make a new scale because it can't really contain how great it is.
That's true.
Yeah, I haven't really. We can crack this later. Like we can sit in this group chat. We can think of the scale later, but we need to invent something new for the series. I think. Anyway, it's a 2 out of 10 in my opinion. I think at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think 3 or 2 out of 10 is starting to feel extremely likely for me because I dropped it. When I dropped it, I was like, this is a 4. This is like a 4 or a 5 because I liked a lot about it still. But this final arc has this, because it's so self-referential and keeps trying to like call back to everything in the past. It makes the past bad retroactively because I'm like, this cool moment that I liked was all just set up for the worst callback in existence. Okay, cool.
Rest in peace, My Villain Academia.
Oh my god, 2 out of 10. Fucking fuck it.
Shigaraki doing all that work to get his own life and his own agency and his own goals in life just to do nothing and then die.
If we have to rate it on this new experimental system, I think I'm going to call it the asynchronous scoring system, also known as ASS. And I think that's where it really lives as a series. Yeah. But I think that's all I had to say about it.
Yeah, great series though. Some good stuff though in this.
Amazing when you really get down to it.
I really liked it when
Go on. Share with the class.
How you guys doing today?
I'm good.
He's short-circuiting when he's trying to say something nice.
He froze. Hasn't talked in 45 minutes.
There are things that I do like about this final arc, but I will no longer verbalize them as I do not feel it deserves it. They will die with me.
It's good because we're about to kill you.
I am.
Right
now. Is this because I manipulated all of the fandom into hating the arc? Is that my evil sin?
No, it's just that you were born slightly outside of common social privilege. So we have to
yeah, that's true. I am a white man. That makes sense.
Yeah, we gotta take you out, I'm afraid.
Like, no hard feelings, but we will snap your neck.
If my bank account had 1 extra 0 on it, I might make it out of this one, but...
Unfortunately, yeah.
Quick, guys, go to the Shonen and Chill Patreon so my pay can get bumped from $0 to $1.
Oh, I am so ready to get called a grifter for appearing on here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, baby, it's gonna happen.
I will never financially recover from the payment I had to give Ocean Man to show up today.
Yeah.
Crippled for life.
I had to give him like half ownership of my YouTube channel, bro.
Brother, that was a bad idea. I'm bad at owning my own YouTube channel. But yeah. Sure is great being a fan of things that are good. And that don't get worse over time.
True. Like ReZero starting life in another world from 0.
Or One Piece.
True. I'll say it just because you said it.
Hey, babe, I love you.
It's been a pleasure having to
Yeah.
move heaven and earth to hear your voice come through the wires into my ears.
Moving heaven on earth, also known as shooting me
I
a
had-
Discord message.
No, I had to wake up at 7:30 in the morning.
Well,
No,
that's
y'all don't
kind.
realize that we're actually it's just me and Asa using a Ouija board right now.
I've just been I haven't even been actually asking the Ouija board. I've just been moving it so that it says what I want it to say. that's the real spirit there that you guys are
Oh my god, it just got 5 degrees colder in here.
hearing.
The electromagnetic reader is off the charts.
I am here to tell you
Oh,
MHA might be ass.
Better I am here moment than Deku.
I'm just chilling here in hell with All Might. Nothing. No biggie.
Gran Torino 2. Fuck that guy.
He's alive, unfortunately.
He's not in my mind.
Fair enough.
That little dude sucks, man. He's probably F tier now. I'll be real.
I don't know. I feel like being on your fake deathbed and using your fake last moments to tell a child to go commit first-degree murder and then not dying. I think that's really funny.
If I think about it, if I remember that I'm an American, that might be S tier.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. My bad. I've been hanging out with Ocean Man too much. I was thinking about it from a non-American perspective.
If you were thinking about it from a Swiss perspective, you would think that he needed to kill Shigaraki harder.
It's funny. Every single time I see someone say that like Toga or Shiggy or Dabi or whoever like deserves to die, click on their profile. 9 times out of 10, they're either a minor or they're American. It almost never been anything else.
The two genders.
The two genders. Like, I'll see someone be like, oh, well, Toga killed people. She has to die. And I'm like, all right, let me check their profile. And they're 16. All right, there we go. That'll solve that one.
They really need to make a childless internet.
Please, God, I'm begging you. There was one, God, there was one person who was like, in my fucking mentions, because everyone always is, because they think I give a shit what they think about anything.
It's a cool place to hang out.
Yeah, apparently. And they were like, actually, criticizing the author for authorial decisions is stupid, and if you can't read, that's on you. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna block this person anyway because I don't care. And then I looked at their profile, and it was like 15-year-old / yaoi lover, and I was like, get the fuck out of here! Get out of here!
Get off of me! Like,
Get away from me, you fucking creepy little. Oh God, it's so awful. Get away from me.
Yeah, and just to be clear, this is not because he's a yaoi lover. I don't give a shit.
No, it's because he's a 15-year-old yaoi lover talking to me in a public space. Get out of here, dude.
The average age of this call is crazy.
Yeah, funny story. People don't know this, but the reason I left SNC wasn't actually because of my health or because of my family problems. It was because Asa challenged me to a duel. And he's young and girthy,
Young and spry,
and my old bones just cracked under the sheer pressure of his physicality, and so I died.
I think I'm the youngest one here, right? And I'm 26. Holy shit!
Yep.
Oh wow, we're even aligned by age then, because yeah, I'm 27.
Yep.
Wow.
I'm the oldest one by far.
Hi, Dad.
By far.
Yeah. And
How
so,
do you get...
but like, I don't ever want to know what a child thinks about anything, first of all, and then second of all, I especially don't want to know what kind of porn that they like. Like, get away from me. That should be that should not be allowed on the internet, man. Keep that in your own brain.
We've read MHA for so long, now we're becoming like socially conservative.
That's why Ocean Man really had to drop it. The voices were taking over.
Yes.
He had the little Horikoshi on his shoulder telling him to start advocating for execution sentences.
I'll be reading MHA and I'm like, it's kind of weird that you're blaming the minorities for their own oppression, and Horikoshi's in my ear just, the fog is coming, the fog is coming, the fog is coming. All right, folks. Is there anything else, or are we wrapping it up?
I can't think of anything else that needs to be covered.
Guys, the Boruto segment.
Oh, that's true. Fuck Boruto. If you like it, send me pictures of your. No, don't do that.
Don't finish that.
If you like Boruto, that's very good for you. I'm very happy for you. I don't actually care that much about manga. I just like having fun with my friends.
Aw,
Yeah, it's just like
that was a
shooting
very
the shit with
wholesome
my-
way to end this 2 hours of.
It's gonna be the craziest kiss ever after this fucking recording.
It's gonna be wet slapping noises.
But I will. This is the last serious thing I'll say. I do find it funny that everyone always assumes that when we're talking about like manga and stuff, it's the most deadly serious thing ever.
Oh yeah, well
back-
because part of that, this is all of a sudden I'm going in another tangent. I think it's because a
let's
lot
go.
of them are just like very young, and so like
They're children, yeah.
because they're children, so to them it is right. It's like the
Mhm.
most important thing that they care about on a daily basis. But it's like I gotta pay bills, man. I don't actually give it. Like this is what I do for fun.
Yeah, like we log on here and we talk and we pretend we're gay.
Yeah.
I mean, we are gay.
I mean, you know.
I mean, we pretend to be so we get that woke DEI check.
Yeah, we're
from,
gonna be the
Bro.
protagonists of the next Assassin's Creed game after the one that's coming up right
Oh,
now.
bro.
Holy
Damn
shit, dude. Polycule. Oh my god, that's awesome.
If they ever make an Assassin's Creed game about a fucking like late 20s constantly sick YouTuber in Switzerland, that'll be crazy. And his 2 boyfriends that live across the ocean, that's wild.
Dude, you saying that made me think of how crazy the scale of America is because Zen and I are still very far away from each other.
Oh yeah, we're like insanely far away from each
Yeah.
other.
And yet
Same
we're
country,
all
though.
so close.
Yep,
Real.
the power of the internet.
The power of sheer unbridled metrosexuality. All right. It was lovely being here again.
Yeah, well, I'm
Was it-
very interested to see what Goblin Nation has to say when this goes up.
I am sure they will welcome me back or eat me alive.
They
Why
will
not both?
welcome you back and then be very sad when they find out that you're not back. It's just this one time.
Yeah, well, let's see. If the ending chapter of MHA is bad enough, maybe I can make another appearance just for you two.
Still, red alert emergency appearance.
The fucking
The bat signal.
some of those motherfuckers on Twitter just woke up in a cold sweat, bro.
They had the voices in their head this time.
There's a lawnmower outside my window now. I don't know if you guys can hear it.
I cannot.
No, I
hear
couldn't
it.
hear anything.
No.
Oh, really? Wow.
Can you narrate what it's saying?
Yeah, here you go. All right, did you hear it now?
Yeah, that's peak fiction. That's awesome.
There you go. Better than MHA's
Somebody
final
slapped that into MHA's last chapter.
arc.
Yeah, when's he getting his serialization? I mean,
let's
Shonen
ask.
Jump ought to be desperate enough.
Oh, Ocean, you're gonna be back on John Jump's radar.
Yeah, careful.
That's okay.
That
That's
sniper's
okay.
only on break. He's not gone.
That's okay. I have a trump card. With this treasure I summon Capcom.
I really thought you were gonna say, "With this treasure I summon," and then leave the call. I thought you were just gonna fucking...
No, I can't, because then I couldn't say goodbye to you. No.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, he can't disconnect until he gets his goodnight kissy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fucking 6:30 in the evening now here. Like, I do need my good night kissy before I get my glass of milk.
6:30. We're keeping him up an hour and a half past his bedtime.
Yeah. I'm so sorry if anyone in the audience has like, what's it called, misophonia, where like you struggle with like mouth sounds. I feel like I've been really bad.
You know what? There's good and bad mouth sounds.
Oh,
That is
You should teach me about
that's
that
a
sometime.
multi-layered there.
layers? Oh, anyway. Anyway,
Listen, by the time this recording ends, there will be 0 layers. I'll tell you that much.
Right. What is your guys' usual sign off these days?
We usually just say, okay, that's another episode. See you later.
All right. That was another episode. Bye.
Goodbye, everybody. Say goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
I'm not gonna say it.